Jim! Jim, Jimmy, Jimmy, Jim, 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 Jim. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're in the Plan, which is my weekly show talking about all the various holotable news and such. There's not a ton of news, but there's a lot of speculation and a lot of discussion, honestly. There's lots going on here, folks. A lot to cover here. We're venturing into unknown waters as well. I'm going to be bringing a couple new elements to this, so don't go anywhere. We're talking about people quitting the game. How do the numbers actually support that, if they do or not? Why is Kyber 1 shrinking? Where is profundity? Lots of good questions. Let's actually jump into the plan. Alright guys, just want to remind you, if you want to support the channel for free, all you have to do is help me out the algorithm. Like, subscribe, comment, all those awesome things that you guys normally do. Really appreciate all of you guys and your support. Let me know what you think of the plan. If you like this format still, after 10 episodes, let me know. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Be respectful, but otherwise, we're good to go. Alright folks, first off, we have the mod that could have been something amazing. This is like that kid who everyone's like, man, he's a prodigy, he's so smart, he's so cool, and instead of doing anything with his life, he just stays in his mother's basement smoking pot till he's like 90, and she's like 110 apparently, because that's how old moms would have to be in order to have a 90-year-old kid doing that. But nothing against any of those activities, folks, except for this mod did not achieve its full potential. We just got flat. It could have been a plus 30 speed mod, guys. Could have been a plus 30. It started 18 when we got it. It ended 18. The thing I think is really funny, because all the other stats are actually pretty bad. Like, it could have been a plus 30 speed. That would have been perfect, regardless of the flat. But the other stats are not good. The thing that makes me laugh the hardest is the stereotype is, oh, that flat defense is always going to roll flat defense before speed. Like, maybe once you roll 5 times on defense, then your speed can increase. In this case, flat defense never increased once. We did like 8 or 9 rolls on it, 10 rolls. I don't know how many. I guess we can look at it. It's what, 5, 11, it's 12 rolls. Never once hit defense. No, once hit defense. I guess that's the default one. So I don't know, just funny. Unfortunately, so Katan just gets to ever plus 18 speed mod. We never had to move it, so I guess that's that's nice, but what a wasted potential, guys. Alright, next one is not Galaxy of Heroes related at all. This is actually a podcast that I've been doing with my sister, my older sister, and we grew up watching a lot of movies, and we have always really enjoyed each other's company, just laughed a lot, and so we've been doing a podcast just kind of for fun, I guess. It's finally on iTunes though, and I'm like, you know what, we may as well try to get a little bit of a viewership. So this isn't Galaxy of Heroes related at all. I think at one point we did talk about Star Wars, but anyways, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually just play it for you, like just a clip, an excerpt. We're talking about Die Hard, and that's the one I think that's the one I recommend that you guys go watch or listen to if that's what you want. The link is going to be in the video description for both the podcast and the actual episode. The actual episode that I want you to listen to will be even higher. The link to the episode I want you to listen to, the Die Hard one, will be to Spotify. So if you listen on an something, then go. I guess you can look for yourself. But yeah, we have a lot of fun, and it's all about, I mean, our mom has everything on VHS. We grew up with a lot of movies, guys. So as you can tell by my intros, I know a lot of movie quotes because I love movies. So I'm gonna play a quick excerpt. You guys will see my head bobbling and stuff, but you won't be able to see any footage because, hey, it's a podcast.
Just get into the plot, or so. I don't know if we clarified this. So this was your first time watching this movie. It was basically my first time. I remember I have a distinct memory of when I was in the Army at CLI, and we were remember it was on TV in like the day room of our barracks, and I was hanging out with people and we were watching it, but like I don't know that I was like watching it. I was probably flirting or something, and like with a boy, just to make that clear.
Not with danger.
Yes, that's the other option. And flirting with that boy was probably flirting with danger. So
yeah, that was wild of you. Wow. Your time in the army was crazy.
So somebody posted.
Alright, that's enough of that nonsense for now. However, there is less nonsense coming up. Just out of curiosity, so I've been reading The Hobbit with my two boys, my 4-year-old and 8-year-old, and they really, really like this scene where all the dwarves, if you haven't read The Hobbit, it's a story about how they go on an adventure. There's 13 dwarves involved, and it's a lot of fun. And so my boys are obsessed with the scene where all the dwarves arrive, just like one or two at a time, and they think it's super funny. So they learned all the names of the dwarves. So I want you guys to stop and think, if you really like The Hobbit, how many dwarf names do you know? My boys know exactly this many. All right, Perrin, can you tell me the name of the dwarves in The Hobbit?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Let's try one more time. All right, Perrin, can you tell me the name of the dwarves in The Hobbit?
Yeah. Balin, Dwalin, Keely, Feely, Dory, Nori, Ori, Owen, Glowin, Biffer, Boffer, Bomber, and Thorin.
Nice work, buddy. All right.
Balin, Raven, Kiwi, Phoebe, Toy, Ori, Nori,
Yeah.
Owen, Glowin, Biffer, Bomber, Shield.
That's pretty close. You didn't get buffer. That's all. Good work. Do you want to try it one more time?
No.
Okay. Alright, folks. So, enough non-Galaxy of Heroes news. My kids are pretty cute, though, I have to say. 8 and 4 years old. They know more than you. Get used to it. They're always going to know more. They might, actually. They're very smart. That being said, CG, man, I had to laugh at this one. So, alright, we got profundity requirements. We have to have a Relic 9 Admiral Raddus. Everyone needs this new profundity fleet, presumably, because it's going to be really good, and I don't blame people for really wanting it. So AdRad is finally available to farm. At the exact same time that they released AdRad, well, maybe it wasn't exactly, it was pretty close to it though, that CG also said, hey, we know you're panicking about this, but what if you wanted to get more Datacron materials? If you wanted them, go ahead and use light side nodes, and you'll get more Datacron materials. So I'm getting a bunch, because I already have AdRad. I already spent the money in shipments, so I spent crystals to get AdRad. And for everyone else who's desperate, they're like, you know what? Screw it, we don't need Datacrons anyways. One thing, so some people were like, oh, well, this is cool. Like, you'd actually, if you just do light side stuff, you just ignore Raddus, which I think is a poor idea, frankly. But if you want to do that, and you just want to get light side stuff from the light side node, go ahead and do it. You know, do your refreshes, everything. That's wonderful. People are like, oh, that's great. Like, you were getting them kind of for free a little bit. And I have to agree, if you're doing your refreshes anyways, you may as well just get this for free. The thing that I want to point out is that shipments don't have as many things in them as they used to. Like, for you can spend crystals at the same rate. For Datacrons, you can't spend as many of the shard store points. Like, you can buy a few things, but not nearly as many as you used to be able to the last couple seasons. So CG giveth and CG taketh away. I thought this was just interesting though. So dark side node for AdRad, light side node if you want to do Datacrons. You can't do both unless you are filthy rich. Just a heads up, folks, I did put out, because we're doing the Datacron discussion here, Datacrons, I put out a guide for the set 3. You guys can watch that video if you like. And the if you want the infographic for it, this is the what you can see. If you want it for free, just go to the Discord server. It's in the video description, linked in the video description, guys. Go come hang out. It's in the channel called Infographics. One thing I did want to address about this, so a lot of people have been questioning my sanity. They say, why, Zareth, why on earth do you want the +6 ultimate charge, that's the bottom one for Sith Eternal, instead of basically the immediate ult? And there's a few reasons. So first off, the top one does look good. It seems like it's the obvious, amazingest best. And I think in some circumstances it will be better. And maybe it will end up being way better. I'm not 100% sure. We just can't know without more testing. But here's the thing. So you get, first off, people say it's an instant ult. It's not. It's 80% if you add all the Sith. So first off, Sith Eternal doesn't always want to operate with all 5 characters with him, because they all just die. It doesn't matter. Like he'll fry a couple people, and then the 3 left will kill all the adds, and they won't kill him probably because there's only 3 of them left, and then they'll 2-shot you. Or you'll be on offense, and you'll attack. You'll kill 2 guys, and then the other 3 will kill all your adds and all your banners. So I don't think that that's going to be great. Plus, it's not an instant ult. It's only 80% because he doesn't count for one of the Sith. It's just other Sith get the ultimate charge. The final piece of it, though, guys, he gets a small amount, almost barely perceptible amount of ultimate charge every time someone who's deceived, which is a debuff that you guys never really pay attention to, including myself until recently, that if someone's deceived, he gets like 2% ultimate charge, which doesn't add up to be a whole heck of a lot. The thing is, with a +6 charge, you're going to, every time someone's deceived, and they're deceived often, he is a deceiver. He's the great deceiver. He is not, there's no one who is actually deceived. They've all been deceived. Like it is just completely bonkers, the things that he's doing with all the deceiving. But the thing is, 6%, and on top of those 2%, like that's 8% every time someone who's deceived gets a turn and gets to move. And that's going to get him a lot. It's also going to be like, well, if someone's trying to solo your team, but you normally wouldn't want to worry about the ult, then normally you're like, well, he's not going to get it because he has to hit me 50 times. He's not going to hit me 50 times. Every time he hits that character who has deceived, he gets 8% charge, which isn't like an enormous amount, but he's going to get his ult most likely and maybe just skewer you. The other thing to point out too, guys, is he does benefit when he waits a little bit till he gets his ult, because he gains a lot of mastery during that time. So there's a lot of good things about the really simple additional 6% ult charge. I do think it's better, on paper at least. Maybe I'll be proved wrong, but that is something I wanted to address, because a lot of people have been asking me that, and I'm sticking by it. People are like, that seems not right, and I'm like, I think it isn't not right. Okay, here's something I want to start incorporating, guys. This is the meme of the week. This is a pretty messed up meme. It's really funny, though. So you guys can pause and just take a look at it. It really just made me lol. Alright, so we're in the unfortunate midst of a conquest thing. And so, wanted to point out, though, and I wish that I had gotten a better screenshot to show one of Ben Solo's friends, but you can, in Sector 4, you have to get 20 armor shreds, and if you keep one character alive with him, I kept veteran Chewie alive for it, but if you keep one of his friends alive, you can just spam hits on this guy, and he won't die, because that's part of his kit. He won't die until everyone else is dead. Or at least that's part of his mechanics for this conquest. So I only needed 15 more armor shreds. So I just spammed it on him, and then I took out veteran Han, veteran Chewie, whatever, some kind of Chewie, geriatric Chewie, and so I took him out, and then I took the screenshot. So lots of just a little tip, and this is actually something that my friend Sarah pointed out a while ago to me, and it worked. I thought it was a good tip. Just want to, I'll give credit. I just wanted to put that along. I don't put out much conquest content, but you know, it's worth it. The other thing, speaking of armor shred, I thought this was funny. Did you know that armor shred is not a debuff? Look at the final thing. Not a debuff. I don't know. Someone screenshotted that for me. I was like, what? It's red. It's like, what about it is not a like? Why isn't it a debuff? So someone could tell me in the comments. I'm kind of baffled. It's the debuff that isn't a debuff, guys, because it says it's the debuff who says he's not a debuff. Does that make him a buff? What does it make him? Does it make him a rebuff? I have no idea. All right, so to the monologue ish. People have been saying that everyone's quitting the game for a long time. People have been saying that we're quitting. You know, Datacrons have killed the game. Everyone is quitting, and the question is, how accurate is that really? So I talked to Taliana, who she is someone who tracks all these numbers and knows an innumerable number of things. And you'll note that on the top left, she was very self-conscious about it. She had mistakenly just transposed Kyber 1 from the top down. So I just, for the sake of clarity, I added the Kyber 5. These are the numbers that are supposed to be. So Kyber 5 is on the top, and these are the numbers of people who signed in, who engaged in GAC at some point. And I thought this was really interesting. So first off, and I'll move this graphic a little bit, there's two questions that this graph kind of answers a little bit. Now, this is the latest set of data is from the end of the last GAC cycle, so we're just on the very edge of being able to have a closer sample size. So I'll try to do this next week as well and follow up. But the most recent one we have is from June 22nd, which, I mean, I'll admit it, that's a while ago. It really is. But that we were still, you know, very much in the middle of Datacrons at that point. And so it shows all the numbers till then. So first off, you can see Kyber 1 is shrinking, guys. You can see the red line. Kyber 1, so in March, there were 8,000 people in Kyber. Then in late March, the next Kyber 1 had actually 8,700. And then there was 8,600. But then look at this, guys. The next two, 7,600 and 6,700. And it's all due to the skill squish. There's a lot of data involved here, and this graph doesn't show everything, but a lot of it's due to CG's decision on how much skill squish is going on. It's just an interesting thing. If you're getting pushed out of one of your Kyber brackets, folks, it's not necessarily because you are a bad player. It might be. You might suck. You probably do. But other people who are less awful at the game than you are getting pushed out as well, and they are actually not to blame, because there's more skill squish, there's less people in it. So I mean, and it's across the board, guys. Look at all the different all the Kyber divisions, people are getting pushed out. So the fact that my Professor X account is able to stay in Kyber 2 is more and more impressive. That being said, the other thing I wanted to address, guys, is how many people are quitting the game. Everyone said they were quitting a month ago. Everyone said that. And I know a lot of people have stories about how their guild has run short of people. They don't have enough people. There's a game-wide shortage of good players. And I tend to think that every guild faces recruiting crises, and they blame what they can at the time. Blame what's convenient. Man, this sucks. Like, they're just making it so that, you know, I mean, for a long time people were like, well, we can't get good players in a guild because all the good players want to go and join their own guild to be able to get the top 3 spot in all the raids. Like, that was a thing for a long time, for a while, back before we started getting rewards for the heroic Rancor and all this stuff. But one way or another, I mean, people blame everything on recruitment, everything but their own ineptitude at keeping players, and some of that's your fault, frankly, and I don't mean to just be a total jerk about it. I do think that sometimes people blame things that on things that don't exist just because they don't want to face the facts, but I do realize that there are some very worthy guilds who are struggling to recruit. There are also some very awesome guilds out there that still have huge waiting lists. I've talked to 3 different people now who have told me that their guild has a waiting list to get in. There's still a ton of people who want to play in their guild, and if you look at the very bottom numbers here, guys, and again, I realize this sample is from late June, so we've had over a month since the last sample size. Hopefully we get a new one next week, and I will show it if that actually comes up. But look at the numbers from right to left. This is the number of people who logged into GAC. So 334,000 people. So like they think that there's just under 500,000 people who are playing, or maybe like just over 400,000, I forget. So there's a ton of people who just like don't log into GAC. But if you look at the GAC numbers, they're basically like the same numbers. Like, yes, the numbers have decreased a little bit, but not by a substantial number. Like, people quitting in droves of hundreds and thousands because of Datacrons, at least as of June 22nd, and they were in full swing then, and that was right in the middle of the panic of everyone hating them so much that it doesn't look, to me at least, like everyone's quitting. You guys can draw your own conclusions, but I mean, that's the data we have. I asked, and I think they collate this data all at the start of every GAC season. They grab all of it from the last one. So, we can't draw any definitive conclusions. Maybe next time we'll have like 20,000 fewer people join GAC, and we'll have that data. I want to show it to you guys. We'll be realistic. I just thought, and honestly, I was under the impression with how many times I've been getting hit in the head. Everyone's quitting. My whole guild is quit. Like, everyone hates Datacrons. Everyone hates them, and the numbers so far don't back it up. Frankly, I'm not saying you love Datacrons. Maybe there's a ton of people who have taken a step back. Maybe there's a ton of people who've stopped spending money. Maybe there's a ton of people who are just full of crap, frankly, and say they're gonna quit, but have no intention, and they just want attention. They have no intention. They just want attention. That's kind of fun. All right. I don't know. I'm not saying any. I have a pretty negative view on some people right now, right this very moment, for various reasons. So I'm probably letting that color my pretty negative view on some people. But I'm not saying everyone is full of crap. I know legitimately several people have quit the game because of Cairo. Not because of Cairo, but because of Datacrons, and probably because of Cairo as well. But all right, so last little segment here, guys. We need answers. We want/need answers to a few things. This week was very disappointing. I thought we were gonna get a few different things. For instance, I was certain, it's been 3 weeks, why don't we have the next set of Jabba requirements? And why don't we have the next marquee is even more important, because we need those marquees. If those marquees are requirements, we need them so that they can become free-to-play farmable earlier, so that we can actually unlock Jabba faster. So I thought that was going to be this week. Didn't happen. I thought we were going to get the Profundity event 2 days ago, folks. I thought it was going to be on Wednesday. I predicted it, and pie in my face, I was wrong. I think it's good for a lot of people. I'm ready for Profundity. I don't know if you guys are, and I hope you do. Honestly, the people who are watching this, I'm rooting for you. I want you to get it, despite my dim view of humanity today. I do tend to like you guys, so you know, some of you, anyways. Some of you I do, but I don't know when the event is going to be. If I had to guess, it'll be next week, but who knows? I don't know. I hope it is soon, though. And we need the kit first. We'd probably need a title update. So if I had to guess, my guess is that on Monday we will get a State of the Galaxy, and we'll get a rollout for the title update, And I mean, maybe this will be on Tuesday. I don't know. But they'll have a rollout for the title update, which will complete on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then we will get the Profundity kit during that time frame as well, right before the event opens. The event will go for 1 day and then be recurring for every month. So get your materials ready, guys. You have another week of respite. Finally, I need answers to this, guys. There's going to be 4 different shows going on at once. We have the Hulk, Mrs. Hulk show. Andor, Cassian Andor show is going to be debuting. I guess they just recently moved it back to September 21st, so that's disappointing. It was going to be August 31st or something like that. Rings of Power, that's the new Lord of the Rings one, is coming out early September, which I'm very excited about. Bad Batch is coming out, I think, right before or right after Andor. They'll be going concurrently though, and I don't know, I'm going to watch 4 shows at once. Which ones are you guys most excited about? I actually have a podcast about that with Sarah. You guys can find the link to the podcast in the video description, though I don't think she's edited as of the time that this is being released. So that particular episode won't be out. It'll be out in, I don't know. My guess is that she'll get it published. She's editing it. She'll probably have it published later today, though. Later on Friday afternoon, this is published. So I think that's it, folks. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you like the plan still? Do you think this format would benefit from anything? We showed a clip of my kids. Did you like that? What? I want feedback. Always feedback. Respectful feedback. We can have good discussions. Thank you all so much for watching. And remember that in all things, Xeris prevails. Have a good one, folks.